Get ready for an adrenaline-packed adventure as we uncover some jaw-dropping trail camera footage that will leave you on the edge of your seat. From bizarre creatures lurking in the shadows to unexpected animal encounters, this footage is unlike anything you've ever seen before. So, hold on tight as we take you on a wild ride through the unexpected and unexplainable in this crazy trail cam footage that no one was expecting 2023. Really, you see unbelievable things happening in this video. Quickly give this video a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all our gripping stories. Now, let's begin. An alien. Although we prioritize trail cam footage, sometimes footage from security cameras is very hard to ignore, especially when they capture things such as this. What do you believe that you're looking at? Like you mentioned, an alien. That you and Vivian Gomez, the owner of the security camera that captured this in Legend of Colorado, have similar ideas. At first glance, you might not think you're looking at anything out of the ordinary until you look again at the extraterrestrial. The alien from the character of the movie, as we all know, is fiction. But this looks real, which leaves one to question how this could be. The explanation is not so simple as we can clarify our claims. But we could be looking at an extraterrestrial being, or simply put, an alien. From the footage, it's evident that the alien didn't know it was being filmed. But if this is indeed an alien, well, that leaves us with many questions. Where did it come from? And what is it doing? How many more of them do we have among us? Can we really trust that the things and people we see around us are really who and what they say they are? Bright orbs. The home security system captured this row of bright orbs which are hovering in the backyard of the homeowner. Take a closer look at them. What do you think they are? If you watched the previous one, you already know what our thoughts are. The possibility of paranormal activity. And given the fact that there is more than one, it could be quite serious. The owners, however, left it alone because they could be balloons or some form of a lantern. Balloons we can understand, but lanterns. Do you think there is more to this, or are we simply being paranoid? Feral Hog Hunt, and now for the video for which you're here. Zombified One. Next up, we have something bizarre. The owner of this trail cam video stared in fear and froze in shock when he came across this very unexpected footage from his camp. He had originally set up his trail camera expecting to capture some wildlife at night. But this was very different. It looked like a man, but a rather zombified one. Even though this was captured in October 2012, it was not during the season of Halloween. But even if it was Halloween, no one goes to the woods in their Halloween costume at that time. Secondly, it looked more like a physical condition than it did a costume. The only thing the one who captured it could think at the moment of seeing the footage was that he was looking at an actual real-life zombie. Did he not consider the possibility of a sick man? Since there is no known illness that can do that to a person. But zombie? Is that even possible? Would the rest of the world know if zombies were real? This pushed him to publish it online. But like all things published on the internet, there are varied options. What do you think? Do you believe that this is proof that zombies exist? Wild boar. Check out this wild boar inspecting the trail camera. It's almost as though it's not its first time dealing with one. It uses its snout to press some buttons, then goes back to either check out its very own reflection or make sure the camera was getting its good sights. Conspiracy theorists might say pigs might be pretending to be deaf to and dirty while secretly intelligent and running the world from behind the scenes. We won't object to that line of reasoning because, after all, why not? Tired elk. Everybody has an item of clothing that's so stylish and comfortable that they just never want to take it off. For some people, it's an old sweater that's kept them warm through decades of winter. For others, it's a pair of shoes that's helped them power through long walks and intense workouts. In the case of this elk in Colorado, it was a 20-pound car tire. The elk's unique sense of style was first documented on a trail camera all the way back in 2019. Environmentalists quickly began searching for the animal but had trouble tracking him down. So much trouble, in fact, that it took them 2 whole years to determine the creature's precise location. When they eventually managed to do this, they had to shoot the elk with a tranquilizer dart to subdue him for long enough to remove the tire from his neck. This also required them to remove the elk's antlers, which we're sure he wasn't too happy about when he woke up. Thankfully, elk grow a new set of antlers every spring, so this forest fashionista will be back to strutting his stuff in no time. Fox hunter foxes have a difficult relationship with the world around them. They've long been demonized as hunters and opportunists, known for snatching beloved family pets in the dead of night. On the other hand, foxes have long been subjected to cruel hunts by humans in the name of sport. And now, with the release of this footage, it seems that foxes have a whole new threat to worry about. And if you ask us, it's a lot more frightening than some old rich guy riding a horse. The video was uploaded to TikTok shortly after an environmentalist set up a trail cam on their property. At first, we see a lone fox happily enjoying a meal, which the owner of the trail cam left out for the hungry animal. Seeing this often stigmatized creature chowing down on whatever is in that bowl is actually quite a heartwarming way to start off the video. Sadly, things take a dark turn when a mysterious dark shadow sweeps across the screen. By the time the shadow has exited the frame, the fox has disappeared. So, what is this shadow? Did it swipe this unsuspecting fox? And if so, where did it take the poor animal? The feral hog hunt didn't go as anticipated. In the swamps of Mississippi, a young man went to his regular spot, hoping to hunt down some feral hogs. He got to his spot by 6:00 p.m. There was nothing to worry about, as this was something he did on a regular. But today was no regular day. Close to 50 yards from his spot, he could hear some noise. Getting his gun ready and looking in that direction, he sees it. No feral hog, instead something he'd never seen before. The creature before him was black, hairy, and muscular. He couldn't tell how tall it was, but he knew it had to be quite tall, judging from its height in its crouched position. Startled, he takes his phone out to record. At least he'd have to have some evidence when he told people he'd seen such a creature, lest people teased and made fun of him. Beyond that, it was also to confirm that his eyes weren't playing tricks on him. After all, it was hard to believe that there could be something so big and scary on the same property he'd lived on for years. Lost girl, when you set up a trail cam in a remote area of land, one of the things you definitely don't expect to capture a photograph of is a little girl. And you certainly don't expect to capture a photograph of a little girl surrounded by a bunch of deer in the dead of night. We're guessing that's why this image caused such a stir when it first appeared online. Here we see a young girl who couldn't be more than 7 or 8 years old, investigating a trail that came as her deer friends look on, almost as if they're waiting for her orders as to how they should react to the strange new technology. But the eyes of the little girl and the eyes of the deer are aglow, illuminating the darkness and adding a whole new layer of creepy to this image. Since this image first started doing the rounds, a number of concerned citizens have been able to identify the lost girl, and we're pleased to report that she is, in fact, not lost at all. This image is one of a series of photographs depicting the girl and her dear friends exploring the woods late at night. The series was created by Illinois artist William Harper, although exactly why he decided to create it in the first place remains a mystery. USA Jaguar in the remote Santa Rita Mountains of Arizona lurks 𝗃𝗄𝗃, a magnificent beast who holds the distinction of being America's only wild jaguar. Sure, there are countless jaguars living comfortably in zoos across the nation, but only 𝗃𝗄𝗃 has the freedom to roam and hunt. That is enjoyed by his jaguar brothers and sisters in the animal's native Argentina. While authorities have discussed attempting to apprehend 𝗃𝗄𝗃 in the past, it's been decided that it's more beneficial for him to continue his life in the mountains, as it provides insight into how an animal can survive in an environment so wildly different to what he's meant for. And 𝗃𝗄𝗃 is not just surviving. This big cat is positively thriving. Trail cam footage has allowed researchers to identify the animal as an adult male in the prime of his life, with no serious health conditions. Footage of the animal in action shows him hunting, sleeping, and even playing in the Arizona wilderness. Essentially, he's living the kind of life that all cats, big and small, would kill for. And if nobody were to even try to capture him, he might just do that. We're sure you'll agree that it's best we leave 𝗲𝗲𝗴𝗲 where he is and continue to admire him from afar through the magic of trail cams. Urban coyotes fighting. In this footage, what you see are urban coyotes fighting with an intruder that had invaded their territory. If you know anything about these creatures, you know the dead territorial, which explains what you were seeing in the footage. But what makes this trail cam footage special? If you pay attention to the video, you'll realize that the coyotes are making absolutely no noise, which is very uncharacteristic of such dog-like creatures. Typically, when creatures like this clash, expect some levels of noise in the barking. But none of that happened here. But why? The answer, while simple, is also very surprising. These urban coyotes have adapted to live quietly because they know that making noise will attract humans, which could lead to their deaths. Smart, right? Perhaps many of these creatures are much smarter than we give them credit for. Who knows? Bear Boogie. The Jungle Book is a true cinema classic and has been a favorite of children and adults alike for more than 50 years. Because the original animated version of the film was such a huge part of so many people's childhoods, it's easy to understand why there is such an uproar. When Disney announced it would be producing a live-action remake of the movie in 2016, maybe Jungle Book fanatics would have been more receptive to the idea of a live-action remake. Saw Cat Paw Prints? What would you do if you saw cat paw prints on your property, especially if they looked like they belonged to a very big cat? Well, unsure of what he was looking at, a man from Idaho set up a trail cam to capture whatever was responsible for the paw prints on his property. And boy, was he in for a shock. It was no house cat. It was something along the lines of a mountain lion that had made itself at home on his property and had decided to dedicate his time and effort to hunt as often as possible on the property. It might not have been the discovery he was looking for, but it was one that might have saved his life. At least he'll know how to conduct himself on the property. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking and subscribing for more crazy clips. Want to see more exciting trail cam footage? Then click on one of the following videos.